Once you have all your ends tied off, we can start picking up the stitches. Replace your stitch marker with your hook and turn over because we're working from the back first. Insert the hook around the taking off or closing of your very top row, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then in and around each closing of the rows as you go. When you come to your knots, make sure they are going behind your stitch. So just pull them to the back like that when you make them. And carry on all the way down to the bottom. Finally, to make sure you've got the right number of stitches, you need to pick it up around your foundation chain as well. You should have 152 loops on your hook, so double check that before you do anything else, and then take them all off as a normal closing. So that's one chain and then 2 off each time until you get back to the other end. You can now continue with the pattern, and then I'll show you how to do the second side. So picking up the loops on the second side is done in exactly the same way. Put a loop on your hook first, then pick up a loop through your foundation chain, making sure that you're going around the closing of each row. Pick up a stitch and make sure that your ends are all behind the stitches you are picking up. And make sure that you also pick up your final one in your last loop. Again, this is just normal closing, so you can finish off the border as it says in the pattern. So now that we've done both sides, we're going to be working across the top. Slip knot on your hook, and we're going to be picking up the row edges of the border as before, around the first one, and then around the closing of the next 3 rows. We're going to be missing the very first stitch of the top row because that is covered by the border. So then we're going into the back of the next stitch and working a TSS. It's exactly the same as working a TSS from the front, except we're using the back loops. Do that all the way along to the other border. Again, when you get to the other end, you're not doing the end bit because that's being used by the other border, but then you need to do the ends of the rows of the borders, which are the same as picking up down the sides. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We also need for this one to do an extra one into the top row of the border, so that we have 5 on each of the borders plus your stitches along the top. Again, this is normal closing, so you can carry on with that and carry on as for the pattern. When you've finished your top border, you can start on your bottom border. Now, before you start, there's a little trick to make things easier. Turn it over and use a double pointed needle, a knitting needle, or anything similar. Insert it underneath the stitches of your foundation row. You don't need to do them all in one go, but if you can use a circular needle with a cord on it or something along those lines, it will be easier. If you're just using a small DPN, you can do a few stitches at a time. There we go. So that's my, oops. You know, something was bound to go wrong, wasn't it? Right, so that is inserted in there. Turn it back over because this is the side that we're going to be working from. As with the top, you need to put a slip knot on your hook and work your first 4 rows the same as for the top. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you need to pick up the backs of those stitches. So if you just sort of pull this over a bit, you can see how nice and clear those stitches are because you have that other needle in the front to help you find them. Can you see how they are, how the needle is showing them up for you? Right, I'm just going to pause this and I'll show you the other end in a minute. So when you have picked them all up, you can then do the same as you did at the other end and pick up the ends of your 4 border rows. You will also need 1 extra into your border row. So just go through the bars like that as if it was an end stitch on your regular TSS. Then you can take all of these off as normal and carry on with the pattern.